Okay, we're gonna try and make this modern architecture house in Tinkercad because Curve might not be working for you. So it's gonna be generally the same idea. Um, so let's see if we can do it. Remembering that we want to ultimately laser cut, but we could 3D print it too. Maybe do both. So we're gonna try to create each piece as like a flat piece. So we got to think of all the sides of the building. And that's how we're going to approach this. So when we're grouping, we only want to group things into their sides. Okay, let's get started. So right here, we're in Tinkercad. You know how to get there. We're going to first take... Oh, and by the way, this is the thing I am working off of. Oops. Where is it? Okay, so this is what I was given, and this is what I'm going to be working off of. So let's start. I think once we do one of these, then you will have the idea for the rest. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start with this based floor. It's really just two big rectangles. So let's start there. We're going to go in and create a rectangle and then a rectangle. Here we go. So we're going to make this one kind of like this and make it a little wider, make it kind of flat. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to copy it, paste it, and we're just going to adjust it somewhat like that and make this one kind of come out like that. Let's go back to our original. That goes all the way back underneath there, and that goes all the way over there. Maybe that needs to come out a little bit longer. Good. And we'll just make this a little bit longer here, a little longer here. Great. Okay. So that's our flooring. I'm actually going to take this in a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to group that. This is the floor. Great. Next up, we need some walls. So we're going to... Don't worry about this railing yet, because that's mostly all going to be glass paneling. We're going to work on this wall first. And remember, it's going to be a bunch of windows. So how are we going to do that? Well, we are going to... In fact, we're going to edit undo. We're going to stretch this all the way across. And the reason for that is we're going to copy it and paste it. Okay, now this is going to be our first wall. We're going to shrink it down and make it tall, like so. Okay, you can see it would fit right on there because we did it like that. Okay, now we need to just turn this into windows. So I think that would probably be about the scale we want. And I'm just taking this block that's a hole, and we're going to move it through our wall. You can see it's coming out at the other end. Okay, we're going to use F, focus in, and now we're just going to adjust. Now, if I was doing this and I really wanted it to be exactly like the model that was given to me in that picture, I would really take my time with all of these and make sure they were like identical. But the key here is we want to make sure that the gaps in between exist, because that's what's going to hold the windows in place. So let's just say we had a bunch of evenly spaced windows like that. And maybe one more. And how I did that was I duplicated this, Command D, moved it over to where I wanted it using the arrow keys, and then duplicated it again and again and again. Okay? But this one's too far off the side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to shrink that one down. And maybe we'll shrink this one down too, just to give it a little bit more, a little bit of a different look. Okay, that's looking good. Now what we can do is we can group this whole section, meanwhile not selecting this, okay, and group it. Okay, so now we have our outline of that front panel. We can move it here, but note we are not putting it in place yet, okay? We'll just leave it like that for now. Now there's another wall, so we're gonna duplicate this, Command D, and this is gonna be this wall over here, okay? And we're gonna bring that up to the same height as this. Looking good. We'll focus in, make sure it's the same height. Looks good. We'll move this out just so we can tell. And this one has one little window. So we're just gonna take this, scale it down a little bit, move it up, and move it into place. Make sure it goes all the way through. I don't remember if it's off to the side a little bit. It is, okay. Oh, and this reminds me, this is like half and half, okay. So really this wall is back here. Okay, which means this window is a lot smaller. So let's just adjust it, put it all the way through, bring it up, move it out. Okay, something like that. Okay, now we're going to group this. Group. And that wall does, let's just look. Yeah, that wall, no, that wall does not come out like that. Okay, so we'll come back here and we will adjust this wall so that it's the same width as that. I am assuming, and we would probably redo that window. I'm assuming that I just duplicated this and I'm just gonna move it all the way back. Now I'm assuming that the back wall is going to just be a flat rectangle. Let's see if that's in the right spot. That's in the right spot. Okay. But I'm not sure about that. But for this purpose, I am just going to duplicate this, make it fast. We're going to make this into a wall and just make it a full-on wall. Great. Okay, last thing, we need a roof. So we're going to duplicate this. We're going to move it up so we can put it on top. Okay. Now, this is a little funny because we have this unusual edge to all this. Now, this is all flat-edged. We can put a radius on some of these things. So I think what you would probably want to do is, before doing these, is adjust the radius so that it's curved. You see how we can curve that in? And it's a moderate curve. It's not like we can increase the steps. We can adjust all of this stuff. Okay, but you can experiment with that. Now, we have this roof. The other roof is actually made up of a bunch of slats that go around. Okay. So we are going to duplicate this and move it into position. Now, so that I know where this is going to land, I am just dragging it down and seeing if it lines up. Right there, it lines up. So this is where we want this to be there. Okay. And now what we're going to do is, I think this will be easiest if we're working on the plane. I'm just going to put this at 0. Whoops. We're just going to bring this down to 0 there. And then move it out so we can work on it. Now we got to make our slats. So to do that, we're just going to take a hole, make it really small, and make sure it fits inside of this. Okay, let's focus in. Take this like this, and duplicate, move it over, duplicate, 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 okay? And so on and so forth. At this point, you have a lot happening, which is gonna look great. I think this is a good starting point, and I think with this idea, you can get started really building this thing out. Obviously, you would do the second and the first floor, but this is a good starting point. Good luck.